Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of the Shouganai Life podcast. I am your host, Kevin.
And my name is Marco. We'll be talking about anime-related topics in this podcast. We created it out of our interest and love for anime and like all the things that come with it, our friendships, and just experiences in life in general. Today's topic is going to involve escapism and how that, impacts certain aspects in real life. And hopefully you enjoy the podcast. Thank you for tuning in.
Mm-hmm. Please sit back. Please relax. Please enjoy.
Well, I guess to kick things off, what anime have you been watching? Have you been watching anything lately?
I've been watching Fate, the Fate Grand Order.
Oh, okay.
Right.
That's the one that's based on a video game, right?
Yeah, the mobile game.
Okay.
As far as I know, though, it's not... It kind of starts off in the later stages of the game. At least that's what I gathered from looking it up. So you're kind of missing... If you watch it from the start, you're kind of missing a lot of details.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But that being said, Fate is Fate, so it's pretty much always going to be good. So even though I don't know a lot of some of the background details about the story, about why they're doing what they're doing, in classic Fate fashion, the fight scenes are always going to be good, and the humor is always going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
And I don't think the studio this time around is Ufotable. I think it's Cloverworks.
Oh.
I think they did.
Cloverworks, that doesn't sound familiar to me.
But I'm trying to remember. I don't know if they did. What was 002 from again?
Oh, 02.
Or is that A1? No, that's something. Either way,
I thought it was A1.
Yeah. Well, either way, animation is good.
Yeah.
It's just different from Ufotable. Ufotable is a very safe, very classic way of animating. Like Demon Slayer. It's gonna be good.
Yeah.
But if you really want to nitpick, they don't necessarily take risks.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like the camera angles and the type of action is really good, but it doesn't deviate from kind of like a formula.
Right. Okay.
Whereas I would say
we're talking about Cloverworks right now, or Ufotable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whereas the animation in this current Fate, it's not. I guess it's not as quote unquote good in the sense of quality, but in terms of just pure like eye candy. But in terms of, the flow of the combat and all of that, it's still good. It's extremely,
Oh, really? Because, I normally just go back and look up clips on YouTube, like the fights and everything. And it always surprises me every time I look back and I'm like, holy crap, this is such a good animation for these battle scenes and all stuff. It's crazy. I haven't been watching anything. Wait. Well, the only one that I've been watching is the... It's called March Comes In Like a Lion.
You have mentioned that to me before.
It's that one that is about this guy who pretty much lives by himself. And he pretty much... I think he dropped out of high school because he was really good at this... I don't know if it's Japanese or Chinese or whatever, where it comes from, but shogi. That it's pretty much like chess, but it's not like shapes or figures. It's just they have the characters on the thing.
Characters on the little tabs, I'll call them. Or something.
Yeah, whatever the heck they're called. So he becomes a professional. He drops out of high school, and he just becomes really absorbed in that environment. And like he explains things like, whenever I have days off, I just practice. I train. Because that is like, he compares it to an athlete. Like an athlete normally doesn't take days off. It's not like lazing around. And then that touches on topics like self identity and like solitude and like relationships with others, like having friends and all that, because he doesn't really have any friends. He's like a very lonely, not lonely, I don't want to say lonely, but like a very solo kind of person.
He prefers, he's alone but not lonely.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
He prefers his own company, so to speak.
Yeah.
I can relate to that just simply because, I mean, when I was in school, when I was in college, I had some friends, but a lot of the times I kind of preferred to be alone, mainly because, well, I guess it was kind of a mindset thing for me in that if I want to be the best, I kind of have to do it on my own. I have to be able to stand on my own 2 feet. Now, while that's an admirable perspective, you know, I would say it's a very American perspective.
Yeah.
In that you should be able to pull yourself up and succeed on your own.
Yeah.
Whereas my parents came from a culture that was very much more of a collectivist society, which is we all come together to achieve common goals, so to speak. And in doing so, we prop everyone up.
Yeah.
So I can definitely see where the character's coming from, but I'm assuming, I haven't watched it myself, but I'm assuming that the anime probably touches on how he grows as a person and how getting friends will probably, you know, probably makes him see things a little differently.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah. Because he has his 3 daughters that live, I think their grandma passed away. They live with their grandfather, and the oldest sister, she works part-time, 2 jobs kind of thing. But every time he goes to their house, so normally the anime uses like darker colors, like mute colors and very monotone. But when he goes to the house of these 3 girls, it's like everything explodes in color and like details. And I think it's from what's the studio for Nisekoi and Monogatari?
Shaft.
Yeah, I think it's the same studio because they do the same thing, like
head tilts,
the head tilt. Yeah. They do the same thing for the animations for that anime. It's just that nice contrast between, like you said, being alone but being with others who make you happy.
Right.
And I think that also touches on the topic of today, that the emotions felt when watching this kind of content, they're very relatable, at least to me, because I live on my own as well. And the fact that having those kind of friends who they cook for you, well, they cook for him. They cook for him. They invite him over. Hey, we have this kind of dish tonight. Just come over. Just having that sort of invitational friendship and kindness. That's not something, you know, you find every day.
Right.
But you're able to feel it through the story. And I think that's, I guess, the appeal of those kinds of animes.
Right. And in today's society, at least in terms of where we are in our careers, where we are in our lives, it's more difficult to have that kind of relationship with our friends and to make new relationships, like those kind of relationships with newer people, because at our ages, you know, we're mid-20s now. You know, we're kind of focused on our careers. We're more focused on our careers. But at the same time, we're also kind of coming to grips with being an adult, you know?
Yeah.
You know, rent doesn't pay itself. Groceries don't pay for themselves. And if we think about it, we're actually considered some of the lucky ones to be able to make enough money so that we can live on our own, you know, like not necessarily have to worry too much about when our next meal will be.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
So that being said, it doesn't make it any easier because it's very hard to save money. So these sort of things kind of occupy our minds a lot of the time, to the point where we end up thinking, well, I don't have time for friends.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't have time to do all these fun things with my friends just because, you almost have to muster up the effort to just go and do it.
Yeah.
You have to call them up and say, hey, let's go do this. But it also requires your friends to be like, oh yeah, no, let's totally do that. So in a way, I think it's good as a reminder to show that, hey, it's important not to sweat the small stuff too often.
Yeah.
It's important not to worry too much about what you can't control.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah.
And I'm from my own perspective, I've been trying to do a better job of hanging out with a lot of my friends, and not kind of get stuck in the mindset of, oh man, I gotta stay at work for longer than I should. Like, oh no, I have to do this to advance my career. Your career will pretty much always be there. Well, at least hopefully it will.
Yeah.
But your friends may not.
Yeah, that's true. And I think I've been reading a lot on, how you get to old age and you look back in your life and normally you regret the things that you didn't do, not so much the things that you did. And so I think experiencing as many things as possible with your friends, because I think at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. Your friends and family are the most important thing in life. And just spending time with them and like making memories and, having fun is a big part of life. And I think that making time for that is really important, just on itself.
And along the same lines, there's a saying, which is, the best time to plant a tree was yesterday. The next best time to plant a tree is now. So yeah, we can sit and regret.
I never heard that one.
Oh
yeah.
Well, now you know.
Yeah.
I love pointing it out, because we can sit and talk about our regrets, what we wish we could have done. But the thing is, we're not getting that time back. So we have to kind of move forward and just do things now, rather than thinking, oh, why didn't I do this one thing that one time? And I think both of us would be able to say, oh God, like, think back on things that, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done this or this back in the time. But it happened. So we kind of have to come to grips with it.
Yeah.
So in our case, since we're talking about friends, at least for me, I kind of put my own friends to the wayside a little bit for, I would say, at least the past 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Because my excuse to them would always be, I'm busy.
Yeah.
Oh, I have this thing that I need to do. But I've learned to kind of say no.
Okay.
A little bit, to say, hey, yeah, sure, I could do this, like this thing for work. I could do this thing. I could do this mandatory family time thing.
Yeah.
But like, no, like I need to make time for other people as well. You know, because otherwise my already kind of small friend group shrinks.
Well, I mean, I was going to bring that up. Like, I think that's why I so much rather have a very small group of friends, because then I'm not trying to spread myself to everyone to try to hang out. And I think that was happening for a while last year, that it was just, I felt kind of drained, because like it was almost every day trying to hang out with different friend every day. And then I guess by the end of the week, and if I had something planned for the weekend, I would just feel like, oh God, I'm tired of this kind of thing. And I think having a smaller group of friends allows you to have more energy. And again, coming back to the kind of this solitude thing, as introverts, I think we have that energy, stored, that it drains pretty quick when we hang out with others.
Right.
And so when I will hang out with my friends that weekend, I will feel more energized and more willing to to go out and like have actual fun and be present for that moment.
And to your point, I think that also requires that your friends understand that about you as a person, right? Because I think we've all had those friends who didn't necessarily understand that, hey, hanging out with you on a consistent basis drains the hell out of me, right? I need some time to myself. And there are some friends who are like, well, I don't understand, like, because they're more extroverted.
Yeah.
But I think as we've grown older, I hate to say it this way, but I would say some of the people that don't necessarily matter. Okay, that sounds awful.
It's true.
But some of the people that, don't necessarily, may not be your best friends, I've kind of weeded out a little bit.
Yeah.
So.
No, yeah. Me too. I mean, whenever someone does one wrong to me, I'm just out. I don't care. Because,
damn, not even 3 chances, not even 3 strikes, you're out.
I know. So because one of my friends, I mean, she pretty much said something like, because I was going out with one of her friends, but she couldn't come that day, and I was just like, "Oh, you're not coming. I guess I'm not gonna have too much to talk about to her." Blah blah blah. And then she was just like, "Yeah, if you don't feel okay or comfortable with them, don't text me."
Okay.
I'm like,
what?
Okay. Like pretty much like cutting the conversation right there, so that I don't know. So I was just all right. I'm cutting it too. Oh. So, yeah. Because again, to the point of growing older, at least me, I feel like I value my time way more than I did when I was younger. And I think that if I'm gonna have friends who quote unquote waste my time, I don't forgive that kind of stuff.
Right.
At least that's just me, and probably sound conceited, but it's true. I mean,
it's something I've thought about, given that in the workplace, you're told all the time that, hey, like, connections matter. And I hate having to think that way, in the sense of I have to assess my relationship with someone based off of how much they're, I guess, worth to me. And to me, that just seems like I'm putting like almost a value on that. Like almost like a monetary value on that. It's like, oh, well, if I talk to this person, maybe that'll get me a promotion in the future. If I talk to this person, they might open up doors for me in the future for other opportunities. Yeah. And I get it. It's part of the game in terms of the corporate world. Yeah. But I dislike that, because what ends up happening is that it unfortunately bleeds into my mindset with my own friends, to which it's like is spending time with you worth it, right? But I just think it shouldn't be that way. You should want to spend time with your friends just because, and even if you're just dicking around, like just watching random animes or just playing board games, it should be fun to you and should not have necessarily a value assigned to it. Yeah, but I agree. I suppose that just kind of comes with getting older. Yeah. But what I would like to do with this podcast is to kind of create a community of sorts, because we've talked about this. You and I came together because we have a common interest in anime. Yeah. Right. And we met in the workplace. Yeah. And I think we can both agree on the fact that anime brings people together. It does. Like very few things can. Yeah. Case in point, we're going to Katsucon this February. And the last time we went, there was just so many different communities just all coming together and just kind of talking about what they enjoy. Yeah. And I would love for us to kind of do the same, which is provide a platform for others to either come on or discuss on social media, like anime and its deeper meanings, or that kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, at least online, the communities that I know of, I mean, unfortunately, they come from those illegal sites.
I used to really like this website called Master Anime.
Mm-hmm.
And anyone who listens, if they know what this is, oh my God. Well, it used to be kind of like the best website for me, in my opinion, because it would schedule everything for you to like keep track of the newer episodes, when they were coming out, what the seasonal anime was. You could create your own lists. And they had Discuss. Have you used that?
Discuss. Oh, isn't that a kind of like a commenting application?
Yeah. So Discuss, and I used to not. I normally don't comment on anything I ever watch ever. I watch thousands of hours of YouTube. Almost never comment. I probably have ever commented like 5 times in my life.
To be honest, you're probably not missing out on much.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But on this platform, I did feel, I want to share something, or I want to like say something about this episode, or just say some kind of highlight or my opinion or anything. Unfortunately, that website, they closed it, as it comes with any illegal streaming services.
Let's call it non-kosher.
No, yeah. Non Crunchyroll. Even Crunchyroll, like I see the engagement community is not that high.
Actually, it's funny you say Crunchyroll, considering they used to be one of those kind of sites.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then
really?
Yeah, and eventually they went legit.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure it was either they shut down or they go legit to stay open.
Oh.
So now today, as we've seen at conferences, they have booths and whatnot. But they got their start in just, maybe not so kosher streaming,
Yeah.
So.
Oh, okay. I never knew. Yeah.
I think that just shows I've spent way too much time on the internet.
Well, I think there's, to your point, like there are communities out there, and to that, also like this podcast, I don't think we ever looked up if there were any other podcasts. There maybe are.
I'm sure there are.
Yeah.
But to me it seems like there are none that are in the mainstream, so to speak. There are none that people can point to and say, "Hey, I listened to this podcast to talk about anime."
Okay.
Though I do see a lot of podcasts, kind of delve on anime, but their main topic is not necessarily anime, I guess it's like on a guest by guest basis.
Okay.
That kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah. Well, and it will also be cool. I'm guessing there's like a lot of facets to anime. I think the very few that I know of is like cosplay, and then I don't know. I guess games too.
Oh yeah.
That's it. But I would like to explore those kinds of things by having people in this podcast as well.
Speaking of games and whatnot, but to me, it's a sign that anime has just gotten bigger than it ever has before.
Yeah.
When I'm seeing established, kind of game, like established like mobile games, or animes kind of getting standalone games, like almost mainstream. Not necessarily AAA, but maybe I would say AA. So, for example, there's this mobile game I'm aware of called Grand Blue Fantasy.
Grand Blue Fantasy.
Yeah. So I think it got its start as a browser mobile game. So the thing is, it's gotten so big to the point where I think it's had its own anime. It's coming out with a fighting game.
Oh damn!
Made by Arxis, which is one of the bigger which is one of the bigger fighting game developers, and they even have an action RPG coming, right? Damn. So the market for this kind of stuff is there. Yeah. And I think it's only going to get bigger because
I think so too.
Right, because I'm seeing people like athletes mention like, oh, I like anime. I'm seeing rappers say I love anime. Yeah. You're just seeing anime is becoming more and more mainstream these days. Yeah. And I think it'd be awesome to be able to talk to other people and say, why do you think anime is getting as big as it is. Like, why do you yourself enjoy anime?
Yeah.
So,
and I think I want to make like a hipster comment. Like, before it was cool, I think we've been watching anime for a long time. And to me, I think I boil it down. Why I like anime so much is like the story crafting of it. I think every time I started something, it's like the character is super engaging, it's super likable, and the plot is super interesting. It's like super creative, and I'm like, how the hell did they come up with this stuff? And I think just because it's all fictional and drawn and everything, I think it allows for so many other like effects and things to happen, like flying animals or whatever, that you can just create by drawing something.
It opens up your options more.
Yeah.
To allow your imagination to run wild, so to speak.
Yeah.
Whereas with something that's live action, that may not necessarily be the case.
It's limited.
Right.
Yeah.
You're kind of limited to the setting that you're working with, right?
And how good the actor is and all this stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's exceptions, but they haven't. But I think they're more recent. For example, The Witcher came out on Netflix.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And even though The Witcher is fighting all these kind of crazy beasts and whatnot, they're still kind of like they're still kind of limited within that live action kind of look.
Yeah.
So, which is why, and I mean, I know people think anime is cartoons, anime is childish, but as we've seen with some of the animes in recent years, that's just simply not the case. Like they touch on mature themes that kind of get undersold behind the animation.
Yeah.
So for example, Violet Evergarden, one of the
I need to watch that.
Right, like I've watched the whole thing, and to me, I can't. There's no way I can think, well, this is for kids. Like there's no way. Like there's no way a kid to me could watch this and understand like the complexity of what they're talking about.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's finally getting through to people.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is good. But yeah, and that's my point. It's like the stories are so enveloping that you just get emotionally and time invested into these things. It's like I was just seeing a meme. I think it was from Mr. Incredible. Like, I think he's just seeing his wall of like fame from when he was younger or whatever. And then the quote says, "Oh, those were the golden days." And then the meme format it says, "Back when you were able to see 20 episodes a day of anime." Oh, those were the golden days. And that speaks for itself. Like that you were so hooked and so invested into the story that you just kept watching until to see what happened to the characters and everything.
Right. And even recently, I've had a couple of coworkers come up to me and say, "Hey, Kevin, I've been watching Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, like that's awesome."
Who?
Well, I won't name their name specifically here, but some CCCL.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
like so. But yeah, no, they've been telling me about, "Oh, I've been watching this as of late." Some of our coworkers have been saying, "Oh, I've been trying to get into anime." Because my roommates have been telling me to.
What do you recommend?
And and to me, it's always amazing because to me, to make my own little hipsterish comment, but I remember back in the day when I was in middle school, and if you watched anime, you were almost an outcast. You were like, "Ew, like you watch that? Like I bet you watch hentai all day." And it's just like. It's like, no, it's not. Yeah. Like, first of all, hentai is art. But like now, because even my little brother was telling me that if you don't like anime, you're the weird one now. And it's interesting to me how the script is flipped over the years.
The tables have turned.
Oh, how the turns have tabled.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool to see like a lot of people liking it more and more. And it also like now I think you are a little bit more free in that regard. Because so for example, I still find myself my keychains. I have my son and just a Pokemon Jolteon. But I normally just hide it. Sometimes I'm just have my keys just ready to go, but like normally just try to put them under my hand so they're not visible. But it's like
it's almost
like why am I doing this?
Right. You almost have secondhand embarrassment. You're like, oh man, you're almost ashamed to like it.
Yeah.
Even though in today's society, who cares?
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, I feel okay in here because I live on my own. That I have this whole wall, which I'm thinking of like literally filling up, like as much as I can. So I'm gonna go ham with cats. hopefully there's good stuff to buy. And there's another. I'll show you later. But there's this other artist that I really like on Instagram. He draws super well, and every single drawing of him, I think it's a he. I don't know if it's a she. It's super good.
Based off of what we've seen at the artist alleys, it would not be surprising if it was either. And I think the diversity is always like it's good to see.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what ethnicity you are, doesn't matter what gender you are.
Yeah.
Like everyone can come together and watch anime.
Yeah.
And talk about it and enjoy it together.
It's cool. It's cool. We've come to a new age.
New age. It's the age of anime, all right?
Yeah, the age of anime, the golden age. Yeah.
Like if you're not a part of the golden age, better get on that.
Yeah. Which makes me like right now like put out my figures again. Because like half of my shelf is gone, but coming to fact to peace that I'm never gonna sell my figures.
But we can talk about it. We can talk about that another day.
Yeah.
But obviously, there's also an entire market for all these figures and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But going back to the idea of almost shame, it's almost like you said, like you want to put your figures out again, but at this point, you put out your figures, what's someone gonna, like someone comes to your house and says like, oh, you're gross. And I'm just like,
no.
Like, no, like, it's just like, excuse me? Like, like at least I'm not jerking off on my figurines, because there's for some reason there's a subreddit dedicated to that, but
oh God.
Yeah, it's not, I'm not gonna tell people what to do with with the things that they buy with their money.
Yeah.
That being said,
I think that's too extreme.
Yeah, that's a little. Yeah, that's probably on the very extreme end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
But like at this point, and also considering our age at this point, it's just like, if you don't like it, like, why should I care?
Yeah. And I think it comes back to the point that we were talking earlier. Like, if I don't have value in my time, which in some sense is valuing myself, and if someone doesn't like it, then they can go fuck themselves pretty much.
Just get the fuck out. Get the fuck out of my life.
Then get out. Yeah.
And I mean, that being said, I know it's nice to have a small circle of friends, but I also don't think there's any shame in, there's no harm in trying to make it bigger, as long as everyone, I guess, we're all on the same page, so to speak. It's like, I value your time, you value my time, you have your opinion, I have my opinion, but we all get along regardless. That's how I think it should be.
Yeah.
Of course, it's never that easy because people will be people.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay. I wanted to talk about how we were talking about being invested and and emotionally invested and time invested into an anime. I just wanted to bring up what has been an anime for you that has been like, I guess, not holy grail kind of status, but something that you go back and go, damn, that was good, and it made me like feel all these feels, so like
So kind
What
of
was being one that's done that to you?
I'm gonna oof, that's hard. Mainly because there's a lot of anime in my life that I've watched and thought like, oh my god, like this speaks to me, you know,
Yeah.
like I understand everything that they're talking about.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'll name a few. Like number one was I think one would have to be Angel Beats.
Oh, really?
Right?
Okay.
Yeah. So when I was watching that, I think that was like the first, I guess, emotional anime I watched, because before then it was all kind of the generic action style anime like Naruto, Fullmetal Alchemist, you know, Bleach.
Yeah.
Before it became garbage. But yeah, no, Angel Beats was the first one that I delved into because a lot of my friends at the time said, "Oh, you should watch it. You know, like it's good. It'll like make you cry." And I'm like, pff, you know, like being all like, when you're younger, obviously everyone can probably point to a time in their life where they probably thought, "Oh, I know everything," you know.
Yeah.
And that was kind of where I was at in life when I was watching Angel Beats. So I watched it, and I'm like, but then by the end, I was like, just a sniveling mess. I'm just like, oh my god, like I had like an existential crisis, like, oh my god, like what if I'm like these guys, and like I don't accomplish enough in life, but then like I have to come to terms with it, you know, in the afterlife, you know. But
yeah, it does put things in perspective,
right? And then the next one for me would have to be the Monogatari series.
Oh, okay.
Right. That was because to me, that, I mean, it's very dialogue heavy, but just, and I think I would say Monogatari kind of shaped my sense of humor to this day.
Oh,
you know,
wow.
kind of a very dry sense of humor, very kind of, I won't say wordplay-ish, but you know, like, but no, I think dry is the better like dry, sarcastic, the witty kind of sense of humor.
Yeah.
And then I went through a time where I didn't watch a lot of anime because I was kind of ashamed of it, so to speak.
Oh, really?
I kind of thought, oh well, like I'm wasting my time like watching all of this stuff.
Yeah.
But then I kind of graduated school and I got back into it. So there's probably a lot I've missed over the years. Yeah. But my most recent kind of holy grail anime would have to be Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Senpai, which, as you mentioned, you have a keychain of the main girl, you know, my son. And to me, like, the part of the reason why I enjoyed it so much was because it kind of subverted my expectations a little bit, because if you saw the original images of like the preview images, you thought, oh, this is just going to be another one of those
like a perverted
hentais where it's just like there's just like sexual type jokes, right? But then you watch it and you realize it's actually quite mature.
Yeah, it has so much depth to it. Yeah,
right. And it talks about kind of relationships, kind of a lot of coming to age style stories. I guess the only thing that bothered me was all the scientific explanations for what was going on. I was like, okay, we're kind of stretching at this point. But if I ignored that point, no, it's one of my top animes of all time.
Damn.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
And now that we're talking about this, now I'm kind of getting the juices flowing in my head. But I think you would agree with this one. But I think Konosuba.
Oh yeah.
It has to be one of the top of the decade at least, right?
Oh, okay.
Well, what about you? Like,
well, Konosuba for me was super funny. But yeah, I think at least to me, it was kind of one of the first that I watched that was like the isekai genre, and it made it really funny, and you know, circle of friends, and you know, everyone with different personalities, but you know, they got along and all of that. At least to me, my perspective, that was more of like super funny kind of anime. Maybe not my top. For me, it's just I guess we have different personalities, and that's fine. But like, for me, I think I mentioned this before. The K-On! Series. I mean, it's not top one, but K-On!, Nichijou. those kind of animes. Kokoro Connect.
Mm-hmm.
Oregairu. The my love comedy or something like that.
See, how do you feel about all the abbreviations with the animes? You know, because sometimes when I'm looking at animes that I want to watch, sometimes I'll see forums where they'll mention the anime, but in like the shorter title.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like confused, and I have to look it up, and I'm like, oh, okay, so that's what this is.
Yeah. I mean, at least sometimes I remember it just because it's so popular, like Oregairu being one example. But those types of anime, it's like kind of school drama, friendship, love triangle shit going on. Oh my god, I love those ones. I love them. And then K-On! Is just like laid back, just friendship, adventures. It's just nothing happening that much. Or like Lucky Star is another one. Literally nothing happening, but it's just.
As I've heard it described, it's cute girls doing cute shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So those are kind of my favorite ones. But as far as emotionally invested ones, I would say Your Light in April was one of like, example in the posters here. Yeah. So, do you watch it?
I haven't actually. I should. Okay.
I guess I shouldn't spoil it, but just the last episode always gets me every freaking time. Like I'm sobbing, like oh my god, like every freaking time, dude. It just I watched it like 15 times now. It's the same reaction.
15 times.
15 times.
The entire thing, or just the last episode?
No, just the last episode. I'm not gonna say why or anything, but
when you need a good cry, you know, when you need a good cleansing session.
Yeah, and just oh my god. Every freaking time. I haven't moved on from that. I had another one. Kind of forgot about it. But yeah, you get the gist of it. Those are like the kinds of anime that I found myself really invested on. At some point, I wanted to buy all the K-On! Figures. But I thought that was too much. I think what I got from that, the music, I found myself really liking the music. I think I have like 2 CDs from them. Yeah, and
so how do you feel? Well, what's your take on how a lot of anime seems to kind of have a school setting, or kind of delves on a work setting? You know, so in a school setting, where, you know, just high school kids doing high school stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's also anime where in a work setting it's showing how overworked these people are.
You're right.
Like in my opinion, from what I've seen, it's almost as if when anime is kind of in a school setting, it's kind of the people involved trying to like go back to a simpler time, you know, when you had less responsibility.
Yeah.
Right. And
I mean, that's why I watch.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, honestly speaking, high school wasn't the best time for me, but you know, it would be nice to go back and kind of experience sort of a lessened responsibility.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of, and to kind of just do things with your friends just because.
Yeah.
You know, going back to what we were speaking before, because in those times we had the time to do so.
Yeah.
There was plenty of time to do all of that.
Yeah.
But then we see the animes where we see, I mean, I don't have any off the top of my head immediately, but a lot of the times when it's in a work setting, it's showing just how overworked like, these people are.
Yeah.
You know? And I mean, a lot of people like to point out like, oh, this happens in Japan a lot. But if we're being honest, this kind of happens a lot, even in the US.
Yeah.
So.
For some businesses, I would say.
For some businesses, yeah.
I would say, I don't know if you watched the otaku dating.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that.
Like,
I don't remember
Love is Hard for Otaku.
Yeah.
My cousin actually suggested that one to me.
It's pretty good.
Right. And
that one kind of paints the picture of, you know, she's always staying late, or like they're always trying to relieve stress by, you know, going drinking. And that kind of, I think, touches on all the, what's it called? The stereotypes of Japan, the Japanese culture, the working culture that's always, you always see pictures of the Japanese workers going to bars and drinking, karaoke and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Because they want to, I guess, escape for a little bit.
Right.
That environment.
They want to get away.
Yeah.
Even for just a little bit.
Yeah.
You know? And for us, I think anime is kind of like that.
Yeah.
In that given what we talked about before, where we're always so worried about bills, we're worried about our careers, that we use anime to a certain degree to kind of get away from it for a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, the discussion could probably be ended here in the sense of, well, just make sure you consume anime in a reasonable fashion. Like,
regulate that shit.
Yeah. Like, what is it? Regulation is key. You know, but there are those who just have it so bad to the point where they just want to escape from that. You know, isekais.
Yeah.
Like, isekais are always, some person doesn't like their life or something, just happens to get run over by a truck. That is true. And then they're in a new world and they can start over. Yeah. You know, they can kind of, it's almost like a new life. Yeah. And they can get away from their old responsibilities and kind of shape their life to be the way they want to. Yeah, basically.
Yeah, and I think a lot of anime is sort of based on that premise of like one thing changes your life completely. Like, so Death Note would be one example. Tokyo Ghoul is another example. Parasyte, have you watched that one? Parasyte, he just, I don't know if you've seen the one that he has like an eye on his hand or something. That's the one. Or Ajin, the shadow 3D kind of looking anime. Damn.
I should put these on my list.
Yeah. Ajin is really good. But pretty much premise being one thing changes everything. And you get to have to deal with this new life that you have. And yeah, I think it does speak for that feeling of like, damn, I'm tired of having the same shit every day, having to work and then come home and rinse and repeat every day. Which I wanted to make a point. Whenever I do watch anime and I do get that feeling of like, I want to just get away for a bit, I do want my mind to be kind of like blank. Like, I'm normally not the type of being analytical to anime. I know sometimes I find my friends like telling me. So, for example, Attack on Titan. I don't know if anyone hasn't started, but they should have started by now. But like Eren is one of the Titans. And like, to me, when I was watching it, it wasn't super obvious, but that was because I was absorbed in the story and I wanted to believe every single point they post in the scenes or whatever. And because my friends were like, oh, if that was so obvious, you couldn't think about it. I'm like, no, I don't like to think about it. That's the whole point why I watch anime. I don't like to think. I want to just be focused on the story and just let everything the outside world to vanish pretty much for that little while, for those 20 minutes, you know.
Hold that thought. I need to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
Cut this part out. So
we're just talking about not being analytical with anime, because that is like my own headspace to not think about real life.
And I think that should be the message to people in that it's okay to treat yourself. You know, it's okay to kind of not be on point 100% of the time. And I think that's part of because it's almost like if you're not on point at all times, you feel like you're missing out. You feel like you're not advancing fast enough in your life, in your career, whatever. To me, it's okay to spend maybe an hour or something, like however much amount of time you want to, do something you enjoy.
So like 10 hours.
10 hours, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just spend the entire day,
Yeah.
Let me just pull out my phone at work, just say, all right, I'm not doing anything today. I'm just watching anime.
Just watching anime.
And I'll like probably get fired.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's okay to spend that time to just relax, do all that. It's okay to get that candy from the grocery store that one time.
Yeah.
It's okay to get that extra appetizer or whatever once in a while. Because as long as you don't allow your life to be consumed by just simply the one singular thing you're using to escape from reality for a little bit, it should be okay.
Yeah.
And obviously I can sit here and say moderation is key, but it's on the person to make sure that they don't. Or if we want to tie it into what we've talked about today, it's good to have friends that allow you that help you to kind of reinforce that.
Yeah.
Right.
It is nice to have. Yeah. I mean, my philosophy always is balance to everything. Obviously, this, I love sweet things, which is why I never buy them. Because, I know I'm going to get them at work, or like, I just go out and buy them. But that's why I never buy them, because I will eat that shit all the time. And I would not look like this. I mean, not that I'm in great shape, but like I would be
a little chubbier.
Overweight. Yeah, I would be
chubbier than
chubby as shit. Yeah. But yeah, I agree with taking it easy to everything, which lately I haven't been watching that much anime, but it's not on purpose. I just I think I do look for that mindset of I want to be relaxed, and I think I haven't been feeling like that lately. So, but yeah,
so what
that's
that
why
means
I haven't been watching.
So what that means is you need to take a break.
Yeah, I need some PTO to watch anime.
Just take all your PTO at once just to watch anime. And
just like PTO request why to watch anime.
But actually don't even tell them. Just be like, all right, I'm taking PTO for this entire month. And you're like, oh, are you doing anything? Are you traveling? It's like, oh, I'm traveling all right. To another world.
Yeah. Mentally.
Traveling mentally. Maybe get some edibles in there. But with that being said, I think, I think it'll be good to, if you, the audience, have managed to sit through this more or less hour of us just talking, please feel free to give us any feedback. Yeah. Let us know if there's anything we can do, if there's anything you'd like for us to talk about, if there's anything we can improve on. Obviously this is our first episode, so there's always room for improvement.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I think that's also why we're exposing ourselves so that we can be better. And so any feedback will be greatly appreciated. Also, if you feel like it, the question that I asked Kevin earlier, what is the most emotionally invested anime that you've ever watched? Leave it in the comments below if,
Smash that like button, hit that bell to get all the notifications.
Oh, God.
General obnoxious subscribe statement, you know, but once again, thank you for listening.
Yeah, right? If you're still here, thank you so much for sticking around. And
see you next time to the next episode.
Yeah, cool.